Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We left off having just managed to defeat Tartuccio and his multiple fireballs, but two of our players went down, so have the death door effect on them. The rest are all in pretty poor shape, so the plan was to camp, but first I want to do some leveling up. So I'm probably going to just cut between characters and just show you what decisions I end up making. So, get back to you in a second. Alright, so for our character here, I went with, of course, another level of Sorcerer, gave Charisma as our increase, didn't give us to another plus because it's an odd number, but it's a step in the right direction. We did get access to second level spells, and so I chose Glitter Dust. I think, if I remember right, we had Glitter Dust once per day that we got from our race, probably. I don't remember, but the reason I chose it is it's a conjuration spell with a DC, and we've got feats that boost our conjuration spells DCs. So we'll be able to blind targets for longer. I think that'll work out well. Alright, for Lindsay, of course, I went with another level of Bard, and I gave her Cure Moderate Wounds just so we have more healing ability, because she's probably going to be a good secondary healer to our Cleric. But then also Heroism, because it gives a morale bonus, a +2 bonus to attack, saves, and skill checks. And morale bonuses aren't used very often, so we're not going to run into overlapping effects as much. So I think that'll work out pretty good. For Miri, I put her bonus into Strength, just trying to get her up to 18. She's already 18 con when she doesn't have the ability damage. I guess I could have put a point into Dex to even it out. Might have been the right call, but I want to get her accuracy up. Speaking of accuracy, for her barbarian totem of power, whatever they called it, I went with deadly accuracy. It's based on lethal stance, which she's already usually in, that just makes it so she's more likely to confirm critical hits, which sounds good to me. So Harem didn't really have any major decisions to make. I decided to boost his wisdom. There could be something said for building him to be better in melee because he's in melee, but he's already got an 18 wisdom. He's definitely built to be more of a caster, so I'm just going to keep heading him that direction. And he can tank up front, but he's never going to be, you know, a major frontline character. No choices. He probably got a couple more spells this level, or spell slots, but that's it. So Valerie's an interesting choice to go down of what options. Obviously continued with Fighter. She had 4 ability scores that were all at odd numbers, which is just a terrible setup. I boosted her con to 20, so she's got a +5, again, when she's not taking ability damage. So, but yeah, Dex is normally a 13, Int is normally a 9, and Charisma is a 15. So yeah, there's 4 of them that I wanted to even out, and that's just not going to happen. As for feats that I gave her Dazzling Display. I could have given her Weapon Specialization or Armor Focus, both would be decent. But I kind of figured she's never going to be great at combat. It's just not how she's built. She's designed to be a defender rather than a damage dealer. So Dazzling Display gives her an option to demoralize all the enemies around, and it builds into other feats along the tree, which I think is long-term going to be a better call for her because she does have a decent charisma, and I'll probably boost that up soon as well. Shathal's one I don't really understand. I said it before, I don't really understand the Inquisitor class that well, and that hasn't really changed. It says that Wisdom is a primary ability score, so I decided to just go into that because I don't know any better. As for spells, Inflict Moderate Wounds seems good because she needs the ability to heal herself because no one else can really do it. And then I was torn between either Protection from Alignment Communal, which I've chosen, or Delay Poison, which would have helped in some of those poison fights, but having to cast it on each ally would have worn out her spells. Hopefully someone soon will get Communal Delay Poison, because that will be useful. There was also options for like Lesser Restoration, the general Cleric spells, but I figured Protection from Alignment Communal is going to be good to have more castings of it for the party. So yeah, should be good. And that is our team leveled up. Obviously, we have the people that aren't in our party that I'll have to figure out later. But for now, let's camp, because we are in a bad shape. So I think the group is still doing what I want. Hopefully we get the hunting, and I'm gonna attempt... Is there a way for me... It's unclear if I'm saying to actually sleep for 16, or till 16, 14 hours. But it tells me that's when ability scores will heal. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how this menu is supposed to work. Should probably look into that. Yeah, 17 hours.
Lands. Lawlessness always leads to desolation and emptiness.
I wouldn't know. Galt is no more orderly, but it's nowhere near as desolate.
Hopefully we did get some ability improvements. And a good amount of healing. Not fully healed. Most people are through with their ability damage though, which is nice. Looks like it's just our main character, Melandra, who has 4 points of constitution damage. And our wolf is also fully healed a bit. So I could have you use Lesser Restoration, which isn't a bad call. Please. That's 3 con. There we go. We are all done with our poison damage finally. I'm gonna switch you back. Oh, I forgot to slot out the new spells. I had intended to do that, which was why I leveled up before resting, but then totally forgot. Don't know that I need another casting of Bless since Lindsay has it. Shield of Faith wouldn't be bad to have available. And then you... Right, you are a spontaneous caster, so yeah, it's just you. And I wanted you to have more protection from alignments. They only last a minute rather than 1 minute per level. So, yeah. Good to have extra castings. Then maybe a bull strength for if it's needed. And sadly we don't have his spells available for the day because I didn't set them up. But hey, it happens. Now we're going to need to keep in mind that there are things here that we didn't complete. Up here was that insane fight with the skull that we'll want to come back for later. There's the shambling mound, wherever it was, that I decided to leave alone, and I'll probably continue that because it's not her fault that she's a shambling mound. And then there's the wolf. We might actually be able to take the wolf now, though probably not with us being 3/4 dead. But we'll want to come back for those. With that all out of the way, though, we are done with this area. That's probably a closer exit. So we want to get back to Oleg's trading post so that we can rest up and then decide where to go from there. My plan was that I would go to the spider nest on the way back, but I'm not confident that's the right call anymore. This is still showing an active quest. Is that true? Last Tartuccio preferred to fall in battle rather than surrender. Keston Gares and the Sword Lords must learn of his fate. Is he still around in that area? And what? Is this indicating that I... Oh, it's indicating I haven't looked at those. It's like, is that the indication of this must be completed during this chapter? But no. I don't think he's still there, but maybe he is. I kind of figured that he would also be up here at the trading post. We could go around, but I'm kind of inclined to see if we can find another route and explore a bit more on the way back, though that might get us into more fights. What are you? Excavation site. Burial site of numerous items dating back to the Age of Enthronement. Kingdom resource archaeological artifacts. Okay. We got a waterlogged lowland that I guess we'll check out at some point. Blackberry meadow, thorny bushes full of... Come on, stay up. Juicy berries still grow on the side of an old orchard. We do need to go back to the Boggart hunting grounds at some point. We didn't actually explore it.
Adventures can wait.
Yep, you guys can rest at the trading post. No need to camp out on the road. I'll admit I wasn't actually paying attention to their tiredness. With a delighted smile, Octavia inhales the smell coming from Oleg's trading post. Fresh bread! I can't believe it! All this time that we sat in cages and crawled in the mud, there were places in the world where they were baking fresh bread. And here we are. I bet they have clean sheets, and maybe we can even take a bath. A girl can dream. Get some rest, you deserve it. To be honest, the food here is not very good. But don't relax just yet, we have much to do. We'll just rest a bit and get back on the road. Get some rest, you deserve it. You can be sure of that. I've got years of rest to catch up on, and I'll be stuffing my face until I turn into a ball. You do so much for us. Is it all because you are kind? Or maybe, the half-elf smiles flirtatiously, maybe it's because you've been charmed by my beauty. Exactly, I would have never found the Technical League's encampment if your beauty hadn't beaconed me. What are you asking? We're friends. I'm taking care of you because you're in my party now. We'll have to save each other in battle more than once. Or you're out of line. I took you into my party to fight, not to flirt. I don't think I'm, at the moment, planning to romance Octavia. But I don't know. I don't know if this is the sort of game where if I don't do the initial flirtation, it just cuts it off. Like in Rogue Trader, my original plan was to romance Cassia, but if you don't take her up on the immediate first flirting option, even though it's absurdly too early, it cuts you out of the path, so that didn't happen. So I guess I don't want to cut off her romance until I decide if I want to romance her or not. So exactly, I would never have found the Technical League's encampment if your beauty hadn't beaconed me. Seems a little strong, but she is starting the flirting first. Octavia laughs out loud. For a moment, something more than just friendliness flashes across her eyes. Oh, you're so sweet. Alright, enough talk. Fresh bread and clean sheets await. We do have new party members that we're going to want to talk to while we're here. Hadn't really considered that. So that'll take some amount of time. Oh. Who do we have here? Listen, well, since you dispatched the bandits with such skill, maybe you can help us with another problem. There's a feral swine living here in the woods. Not a normal wild pig. We're talking about a vicious boar, as big as a bear and wicked as a devil. The locals call him Tuskgutter. Many hunters have lost life and limb to him. Vekel Benzin found his lair and went to kill the beast, but came back with one leg. He put a bounty on the boar's head, but it looks like there aren't any heroes around here bold enough to claim it. Maybe you will rid us of the monster. Mary livens up. Hey, we're better than the local wussies, right? Want to bet I can chop off this Tuskgutter's snout with a single swing? Come on, let's find out. Don't you think we have enough to do without bothering with this Tuskgutter? No, we have no time to entertain ourselves with a hunt. Alright, let's go kill this Tuskgutter, but please let me rest first. Mary gives you a wide grin and slaps your shoulder. Right, that's the way I like it. Let's do it. Tuskcutter's lair has been revealed. All right.
I'm there.
Cool. Well, Oleg, we need to do some trading. Show me your wares. So we've got it set up to keep masterwork, but sell all non-magicals and random knickknacks. 3,000 gold. I will take that for sure. Meanwhile, we still have all of our magical and masterwork gear. I don't know that I actually need the masterworks either at this point. We've already grabbed everything we cared about. 4,800. Now, you had a bag of holding, I believe. Ooh, and some belts of giant strength. And other fancy belts. And headbands. Interesting. 4,000 gold. Yikes. Oh, there we go. Small bag of holding for 2,500. So we still have 3,000 gold ourselves, plus an additional 2,000 here. So I could get one of those items. Or I could give... I could get some magical weapons or armor for party members that need it. Oh, and I can even look up the party members. You've got a Masterwork Scythe. You have a Masterwork Bastard Sword. You just have an ordinary flail. I could get you a Masterwork Flail or even a magical flail. You have your super sword. And then you've just got an ordinary light crossbow. And then you two that aren't in the party at the moment. I need to level you up while I'm here. Bag of holding is a definite. I'm going to say no to these, at least for the moment. It's basically all of our gear, or all of our gold, to give one person a +1 to their attacks. I don't know that I can quite justify that. And Bakken, we've got your radishes. Bakken frowns as he ostentatiously examines the nearest wall, hands in his sleeves. Without turning to you, the old man finally says in a dull voice, "You want some potions? About those tasks of yours." "Yes." "Give moon radishes. Does this look like the radish you were looking for?" Bakken's face brightens and he rubs his sides in satisfaction. "Hey, that's it. Hey, there's even more here than I expected. Thank you so much. Take this. You deserve it. 200 gold and 150 experience. Why did you need the moon radishes?" Bakken blushes heavily and coughs into his fist. "That's for Oleg. He sprained his back last summer, you see. Tries to move a heavy chest all by himself. You can't even imagine the healing powers of the radishes. They make a great pain-killing ointment. Potent, exquisite. I just... Oleg would never confess his weakness to anybody, but I see him wince every time he bends over to pick something up." The old man sighs a bit too loudly. "Oh, when will the poor man realize he's not 15 anymore?" Alright. Let's talk about something else. I should go. So he still wants the fangberries from the spider cave. Jihad's here. Perhaps I should talk to him in the morning. Because we are exhausted, and if I have to do any checks, we'll do poorly at them. Though I obviously still have the mod that succeeds automatically, so I guess it's fine. But the mentally thinking, I know I should rest first because I'm taking penalties. Jihad nods warmly. "How may I serve you?" "I need the help of a cleric." "Oh, that's just a shop." Also, let's reorganize our gear because it was not organized. So you sell a bunch of scrolls, diamonds, and diamond dust. Okay. Interesting. Probably not. Yeah, I'm gonna rest for the night. We'll come back and talk to you in the morning, as well as everyone else. Oh, Keston is here.
I'd do what I
Same statement.
must.
We're going to rest because it is late, and we will talk to you in the morning. So this is probably going to be a very talking-filled episode. Okay, so everyone is now refreshed from the death. Let's quickly level up these two, and then I'll show you the choices I made. So for Ragongar, he's still a Magus. Ability score-wise was an interesting choice. It says that for a Magus, the best ability scores is Dex and Charisma, but he had a 19 in Strength. So he's clearly designed to be a Strength-based Magus rather than a Dex-based. So I continue to boost that, but I was tempted to put it into the Dex to get that to a round number. Would have boosted his AC a little bit. And then spell-wise, Frigid Touch is a touch spell, so we can apply it with his sword. And then Blur will just help him or someone else up front tank better. I was tempted by, what's the spell called? Mirror Image, that's the one. I don't know which is going to be better defensively, Mirror Image or Blur. They seem similar in my mind. 20% miss chance or a handful of illusions that go away when you're hit. I don't know. So I arbitrarily sort of chose Blur. And for Octavia, I went with another level of Wizard. Again, I don't think I'm going to go deeply into Rogue. The goal is to push her towards being an Arcane Trickster, and for that she needed 4 ranks in Mobility, Trickery, and Arcana, I think? Or maybe it's Stealth, Trickery, and Arcana. I'm not sure. I looked it up beforehand, but she gets enough skill points that it was fine. I think she's now at a point where next level she'll be able to take Arcane Trickster. And then as for spells, Scorching Ray, because once she's doing her ray attacks with sneak attack, they have to be ray attacks. And then Sense Vitals, because that will give her additional sneak attack damage. So she's going to be doing a lot of damage once she's actually built properly. But these early levels where she needs everything to work out before it'll all come together, she's not really that useful, at least to my understanding of the way it all fits together. And that is the level up. So let's talk to you two and figure out what's going on with you. What do you want? Have a little chat? Alright, it's not like we have anything better to do. Tell me about yourself. What is there to know? I was born, I'm alive, haven't died yet. That enough for you? Do you remember your childhood? Ragongar scowls. What a crap question. I was just a kid when they sold me. Before that, I don't remember much. Smoky fires, stinky hides, always bumping along on the horse. I think I was born in one of the Kelid tribes of Numeria. There were many. Some survive on their own, some give up their pride and serve the Technic League. I guess mine was one of the cowards, if they sold their own kids. Numeria was the, technological Magitech society, based on like a starship that crashed there, if I recall. Yeah, crashed starship, yeah. And the Technic League, of course, was the slavers from Numeria that sort of own Numeria now. I remember my father's hands, rough, scarred, white, so I guess I get this green skin from my mother, but I don't remember her. I think I remember playing with another half-orc child, a brother maybe? For some reason they didn't sell him, just me. Father gave him his dagger to play with, never gave it to me. Nah, I don't want to remember. Forget all this, I'm an orphan. Ragongar waves his head wryly. I grew up a slave, that I remember well. So many things burned into my memory. Most of all, I remember her, my Octavia. Today we are almost the same age, but back then she was twice as young as me. Just a child, but a brave one, cunning, bold, and beautiful. The most beautiful girl in the world. Oh, so you two have a thing. Maybe I shouldn't be flirting with her, but maybe she shouldn't be flirting with me? I don't know. What deity do you worship? Also, she was twice as young as you, and now you're the same age. Does that mean you age slower? You're a half-orc. I thought she was human, maybe elf? But elf wouldn't make sense because then she would age slower than you. But I didn't think half-orcs age slower than humans. I'm going to figure out what a race is. I don't know. And he's got me questioning. What deity do you worship? Ha! Never got much help from the gods so far, but if you make me choose, I'd say Callistria. Who else would I worship? The savored sting? The goddess of pleasure, fun, and revenge? Oh yes. Right, that's the one that Tartuccio worshipped. Where did you get your magical powers? What magical powers? The hell are you talking about? Oh, you mean these? Ragongar makes lightning run over his hands with a contented smile, then snaps his fingers, invoking a shower of blinding sparks. I've had them since I was born. At least one thing I can thank my scum parents for. Maybe these powers are why they sold me to slavery. Think they were scared? Who knows? Damn Numerians. At the Technically, they drew my blood, did experiments, burned me with fire, tortured me with cold, electricity, and they told me, you won't believe it, they told me I have blue dragon blood in my veins. Not bad, huh? I'm a dragon, you freaks. Come check my blood if you dare. Grinning, Ragongar strikes his palm with a fist, and another fountain of electric sparks shoots upward. What do the tattoos mean? They're magical. They help me control my powers. The Technically gave them to me. I'd hoped that somewhere on my body there was at least one sign left by my tribe, but nope. I guess they didn't care to bother. To hell with them. They better hope I never find them. If I ever meet my father, I will even the score between us. How do you manage to use both a sword and magic and not cut off your fingers? Ha ha ha. It's simple. I'm just that bloody good. The half-orc gives a contented grin. Do you enjoy making people suffer? Pfft, why should I care about their suffering? I do what I want. If I step on someone's toes, then they shouldn't have put themselves in my way. But chasing someone down just to torture them? That's only entertainment for maniacs like the Technicleague. Well, on second thought. For them I make an exception. I'd love to watch as I fry them nice and slow. But why do you ask? Do my methods shock you? Ragongar clenches his fist, buzzing with sparks, and laughs loudly at his joke. Lawful good, it seems to me you're no more than a common felon. Rough. Neutral good, if you treat your enemies like that, what makes you better than them? Lawful neutral, so long as you're in my party, try to control yourself, I don't like meaningless atrocities. Neutral evil, I for one enjoy the torments of others. Or chaotic evil, very amusing, and you're right, if someone gets in your way, it's their own fault. None of the alignments match up with us, but none of them really line up kind of with the vibe either. I guess, which is what means that none of the alignments match up. But I think he was chaotic evil, and I do want to at least try and steer him away from that, if possible. I don't know if we can actually affect the alignment of our allies, or if we're just going to upset them by stating things against their alignment. I'm not going to go all the way to lawful good. Seems not appropriate, just saying you're a felon. If you treat your enemies like that, what makes you better than them? Which I think is a fair statement. Like, you don't need to push yourself down to their level. Why do you think I want to be better? What does that even mean? I have no delusions of purity. I don't need to prove to myself or to my enemies that I'm better than them. Morally, spiritually, whatever. I just want them rotting in the ground so I can live, drink wine, and piss on their graves. Well, thank you for your answers. Thanks don't fill a purse. Haha, I'm just kidding. Tell me your life in Numeria. You mean my life as a slave? I didn't see much, except for the slave barracks and the League's twisted laboratories. How did you happen to become a slave? Well, he told us he was sold. I was sold by my own tribe when I was just a little brat. The half-orc clenches his teeth and spits on the ground and steps on it with his boot. So I grew up in a slave barracks. I was raised to be sold like a battle animal. They tried to break me, but they picked the wrong brat. No matter how much you beat this animal, he only gets angrier. The half-orc punches himself in the chest and snarls. Why did your masters teach you magic? Can't you guess? Because magic is in my blood. It's why they bought me. I wasn't raised as some lowly mop slave, but as a murder machine. I'd fetch quite a nice sum of gold. You might also ask if they knew I'd take the first opportunity to rip their own guts out using everything they taught me. Ha! Of course they did, but that's the Technicleague. They calculate the risk. Octavia kept pretending to be simple-minded so they wouldn't expect anything of her, but I made every effort. though they didn't teach me much. What is there to teach? It's not book magic, it's innate. They made me practice with my sword more, but I did my best in everything. I studied all I could. They knew they were raising an enemy, but they thought they could keep me on a short leash, or sell me to someone with deep pockets, so I'd become someone else's problem. But who won in the end, huh? Who is free? Who will bury them all? Afort makes an obscene gesture in the northwestern direction, toward Numeria. What else did you see beyond your life in chains? What could I have seen? Well, when we ran, we went through Starfall. That's a fine city, big, loud, many merchants, things to see, things to steal, but I didn't have much chance to walk around. It's the very nest of the Sodding Technic League. We were focused on getting out alive. So Starfall is a city just as brutal and harsh as the unforgiving Numerian land that is the capital of. Okay, so it's the capital of Numeria. The place is a mockery of the soft capitals of the south, with a level of decadence which would put even Taldor to shame. This decadence is surrounded by the filthy reek of human misery. Here, the Black Sovereign, Kavath Kul, rules at the whim of the Technic League, while the rest of the city suffers under his harsh rule. Okay. We met some barbarians. I asked them who might know what tribe I'm from, but they didn't know anything. I don't have any tribal tattoos, nothing. Actually, they are all right. Well, some of them. The Blood Pikes, for one. They're great. All the rivers are theirs. We sailed with them during one of our escapes, almost all the way to Brevoy, and they didn't turn us in. But the White Scars got us after that. Those guys are shit. They sold their pride to the Technic League. Oh, one more thing. One time, Octavia and I tried to escape and stumbled across a Numerian monster. I'll never forget it. A huge spider the size of a house, made of metal, spitting fire, shooting deadly rays all around. That thing could probably tear even a dragon to pieces. Ruined our escape plans too, that we had to go back. Did you and Octavia try to escape? He's already said multiple times, but I guess we will ask the question. What do you think? Of course we tried. I stopped counting how many times. Jumped from windows, dug tunnels, choked our guards, or seduced them. That happened too, hahaha. But those dirtbags caught us every time. Every bloody time. My back is covered with whip scars. Luckily, we were prized property. They'd spent too much gold on us to kill us. Anyone else would be hung and forgotten, but they kept trying to break us and recoup their expenses. I don't know whether I could have survived by sheer stubbornness if it weren't for Octavia. I probably couldn't have. I would have just given up and died. But I had to pull my girl out of that meat grinder, and she believed in me and had enough hope for both of us. When I lay there with my back slashed to pieces, she whispered to me about the River Kingdoms, where there's no slavery, where everyone can go wherever they want and take whatever they want. I mean, they probably shouldn't just take whatever they want. I'll be damned, but I thought she was making this up to keep our hopes alive, and now it turns out to be true, all of it, every last word. No chains, no slaves, no laws, just live and be happy. Is slavery actually legal in Numeria? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are some laws against it, but even in Starfall, a third of the people live in bondage, and that's the capital. In regions where the Black Sovereign's hand doesn't reach, they hold it to tribal customs instead of laws. The barbarians don't keep slaves, instead they have thralls. Big bloody difference. And on top of all that mess, there's the Technic League. Law and custom mean nothing to those slime balls. They just take whatever they want, and whatever and whoever they want. Well, thanks for your answers. Ask away. What kind of relationship do you have with Octavia? I mean, seems very committed. He keeps referring to her as his girl, which I guess states his opinion. Well, Octavia and I don't have a relationship. We have a life together. How did you meet? Back when we were children, we were taken as apprentices by a great spellmaster, Janusz. Maestro Janusz, as he called himself. He was our teacher. Well, he made Octavia? Part of me now thinks it's Octavia, and I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Octavia read books and memorize spells. I have my own innate magic. He trained me a bit, taught how to control my gifts so I wouldn't lose control and incinerate myself like a dumbass. Oh, teacher, we will meet again. There's one more test I must pass. But you were asking about my Octavia. We've been together all our lives. We learned everything together, how to weave magic and how to survive. And as we grew older, we learned how to love. Without each other, we would have never have gotten out of there, that's for sure. We would have given up and surrendered to death. But together, that's a very different story. Not the first time and not the 10th, but eventually we made it out. Why do you call her yours? She doesn't seem to like that very much. We haven't talked to her about it yet. But I guess we've learned enough in our travels that she doesn't like it. My girl loves freedom so much, and even a slight chance of losing it frightens her. She's so smart. You really think she feels like I'm trying to make her mine, like an apple stolen at a market? Me, who was skinned alive for trying to help her escape? If she's afraid of the word my, it's because she doesn't understand the difference between my boots and my heart. But she will understand, sooner or later. Are you and Octavia faithful to each other? Octavia and I are connected, and this connection cannot be broken. We grew into each other, you know? Jealousy is for weak cowards, who don't trust each other and are scared of being tricked. If a knight on the side threatens your love, that just means there was no real love there to begin with. So you're not faithful to each other. You're fine with having knights on the side. She and I are together to the end, and we will never part from each other. So when she likes some lad or some lass, it's no drama to me. I just ask her whether she wants me to leave them alone or join in, and she does the same. Ha ha. What are you judging us? Or maybe you want to join us in our tent, hmm? The half-orc grins. I don't know about that. You guys seem like your situation is something I need to learn a lot more about before I just jump in there. Is that an invitation? Maybe I will. Couldn't do that. To me, love is impossible without faithfulness. I'm not here to judge, just curious. Or, well, what? That's enough from you. I'm not here to judge, just curious. You asked and I answered. When you pry into others' lives, don't be surprised if you find something that will keep you up at night. Ha ha. Well, thank you for your answers. Don't mention it. I'll have to go. So long. If you want to know anything else, just ask. Don't be shy. Just don't go pale when I answer. And Octavia, what's your story? Hello. Octavia smiles at you flirtatiously. Got any good news? Could you tell me about your childhood, please? Octavia sighs. Too little. Some scraps of memories. No more than that. What exactly do you remember? Octavia reflects on that, tapping her finger against her cheek. Nothing special. Some images of a faraway past. That's all. I do remember wooden table legs. The paint on them was peeling off, and I was standing on my toes trying to peek at what was on the table. I remember the wild rose by the window. It kept me up all at night, scratching the glass with its gnarled branchlets. I do remember my mother's blue dress. It was a trifle battered, but it smelled of lavender. Octavia wrinkles her forehead. I guess that's all. Not much there, right? All those memories. It's like they're not mine at all. I recall some images and I know I should feel something about them, but I don't remember what exactly I should feel. So let them rot in a swamp with tattleworms. Octavia grins cheerfully. My life's good enough without them. What do you know about your parents? You're a half-elf, right? If she's a half-elf and you can see her pointed ear, what was he meaning about she was half his age and now they're the same age, which I'm assuming is more of like maturity. Like when he was a teenager, she was a child, and now they're both adults, is how I take that. But half-elves have slower lives than humans, and I think half-orcs are about the same as humans, or maybe even a little faster. I don't know. Yeah, what do you know about your parents? You're a half-elf, right? Am I? Octavia examines herself as if seeing herself for the first time. You know, I think you might be right. I'm rather slim and tall, and I can see well in dim light. She raises her hands and touches her ears. Uh-huh, they're a bit pointy. Yes, I'm definitely a half-elf. Let's think about that logically. So my mother was an elf and my father was a human. Or maybe it was the other way around and my mother was a... Finally, Octavia can't take it anymore and bursts into laughter, having spoiled her own act. So that's it. Now you know as much about my parents as I do, she says as her laughter subsides. So, yeah, he has at least some memories of his childhood. The vague idea that he had a brother, he remembers his father but not his mother. Like some knowledge versus she just has a few flashes of memory without any real connection. Do you remember how you were enslaved? I clearly remember the man who took me away from my home. He was big, with a huge potbelly and shaggy beard. I was afraid he would eat me. Octavia shrugs. Anyway, he didn't stay with me long. He gave me to his slave accomplices, and I never saw him again. When my mother was giving me to him, she was crying. I can still barely hear her quiet voice, but I can't recall her words or her face behind the tears, just that lavender smell. It tickled my nose and I wanted to sneeze. Did my mother sell me into slavery? But then why was she crying? And if she didn't want me to be a slave, why didn't she try to save me? Octavia twirls her hair, pondering over the thought, then sighs, one more riddle from my past that I don't care to solve. Must be horrible being unable to recall your childhood. Oh, I recall my childhood in rather bright details. It was spent in dirty barracks. I wore flea-infested rags and slept on a straw mattress instead of a proper bed. Octavia smiles humorously, though I understand what you mean. You know, to be honest, I'm not sure I want to remember my childhood before slavery. If I could remember what I lost, it would probably just bring me more pain. Octavia shakes her head several times and makes herself smile again. So it's good that I don't remember much of anything. All right, I wanted to ask you something else. Of course, what do you want to talk about? Will you tell me about your life in slavery? I don't like to recall it, but if you insist. Octavia frowns. The slavers from the Technic League tried to ruin my life, but all they could do is ruin my childhood. How did you happen to find yourself in the Stolen Lands? My enslavers from the Technic League funded a large expedition into the Stolen Lands. 100 agents, tens of slaves, wagons. We were to search for some ancient artifacts or ancient ruins? Octavia shrugs. Our group never made it to the Technic League hideout. Along the way, it was attacked by the future owner of the Stolen Lands herself, and I'll be forever grateful to her for it. Octavia winks cheerfully. Did you have many masters over the years? Yes, many of them. Some owned me for years. Others felt they'd had enough of me in a couple of months. Trust me, I did all I could to make every master eager to get rid of me. A slave that's trained in magic is a rather expensive thing, so they wouldn't kill me. At least that was the hope. So I drooled, I played the idiot, and I listened as every new master argued with my former one, trying to return me. Sometimes I punctured the pages of magic books I was forced to copy with a quill. Other times I pretended to mix up the spells, so instead of lighting a magic torch, I set dozens of dancing lights floating just below the ceiling. Of course, most of these tricks of mine usually ended badly. I got punished on a regular basis. My back still remembers the master's whips, though all of my scars from those times are long gone. Where did you learn to use magic? Oh, I was taught magic by Janish of Starfall, one of the most famous wizards in Numerio, Maestro Janish, as he insisted on calling himself. Octavia's voice overflows with contemptuous sarcasm. Anyone would be happy to learn from such a great master, and only a talentless bitch like me would dare to reject his teachings and indulge in her laziness. At least that's what Maestro Janish used to repeat constantly while whipping knowledge into my back. The great Maestro was a big fan of punishment. Octavia's lips pressed into a thin line. The Technic League didn't care if a few slaves died under the master's whip, as long as Maestro Janish provided an arcane-trained one in return. Officially, there's no slavery in Numeria, but the Technic League is above any law. A slave with an aptitude for the arcane is worth much more than a regular one. The slave's repertoire is limited to the simplest and safest spells, of course. Have you ever tried to run away? What a silly question. Of course I tried. As soon as we saw even the tiniest opportunity to get free, Reg and I grabbed it for it. On one occasion, we jumped from the cart into the river. There was a time when we spent weeks trying to dismantle the far wall of our barracks and make a path out. Sometimes we attacked our guards when they least expected it. We craved freedom. We lived only to dream about it. Those short days, sometimes weeks that we spent on the run, were the happiest days of my life. We used to hide in the woods or blend in with the crowd on the streets of Starfall. Midnight stars were our guiding lights, and we shared our dreams with them to reach the river kingdoms, for in these lands there is neither slaves nor masters. We were starving and freezing, but that was the real life. Too bad it usually ended too soon. The Technic League agents always found us in the end. I don't know how they managed to do it. They probably used magic, or maybe it was just our fate. They whipped us and returned us to our old masters, or sold us to new ones, if the old ones refused to pay. So we were slaves again, but the dream about the river kingdoms never left our hearts. Have your masters ever hurt you? These questions are strange when it's like, she's just told us that they were whipped, and it's like, were you ever hurt? No, being whipped doesn't hurt at all. Have your masters ever hurt you? You figured that out, didn't you? Octavia narrows her eyes. Or maybe you want to hear all about the beatings I survived, the humiliations I've endured. Imagine the worst thing one person can do to another and multiplied tenfold. That's what happened to me nearly every day in slavery. Masters. Oh, how I hate that word. Octavia shakes her head furiously, making her locks dance. They punished me because they wanted to hurt me, but what hurt even more was the mere fact of their existence. Let's talk about something else. Octavia stops you, gently touching her hand. Wait, I want to tell you. She sighs and shakes her head as if trying to collect her thoughts. The technically agents you rescued us from. Reg and I tried to run away many times, but they always managed to find us eventually. I have no reason to hope that this time they've lost track of us for good. Won't let anyone harm those who are dear to me. Whatever happens, you can count on me. Good statement. Got it good. I won't let those filthy slave traders take you again. Just let them try. Also good statement. Lawful neutral. Well, you're with us now. I'm confident I should be able to make a deal with them. No. Or lawful evil. I never throw away valuable resources they won't get you. Also no. We'll go with the chaotic good option. I won't let those filthy slave traders take you again. Just let them try. Yes, we'll chase them to the border. We won't see them. We won't see them through the dust. Suddenly she frowns in contemplation, twirling her locks. Still, I'd like to find them first. What kind of relationship do you have with Regongar? Octavia shrugs awkwardly. We're together, she answers simply. The way you said we're together sounds unconvincing. Is something wrong? You've noticed? Well, I didn't mean that. I'll have to explain. Octavia shakes her head. I'm not sure I know how to put it correctly. You see, Reg seems to treat me like his property. Yeah, so that's what he was talking about when we said she doesn't like the word my. And I don't think he means it in the way of, she's mine, I own her. But I can see why she would take it that way. He's always kind to me, and it feels good when we travel together, or when we share a blanket at the campsite. But he always calls me my Octavia. I've told him over and over that I don't belong to anyone, that I'm my own, that I stay with him by my own free will. He only grins when I say that. I bet he likes to think that I'm his. Never mind, though. I'll sort it out somehow. Octavia shakes her head, making the troubling thoughts go away. When did you meet Reg? Years ago, when I was studying magic at Maestro Janish's. Reg was a student too, though you couldn't actually say he was really studying anything. Reg has his own ways to cast spells. He never needed the Maestro's instructions. You see, unlike wizards, Reg draws powers directly from his innate bloodline abilities. You're telling this to a sorcerer? Yes, I understand innate bloodline abilities. Janish didn't realize the nature of Reg's power when he took the young boy as his new student, and when he finally understood them, he just taught the negligent half-orc to control his powers to avoid harming himself or the others. Reg and I have been together ever since. We could both use magic, but more importantly, we both craved freedom. We used to vow to each other that someday we'd break free from the unbearable captivity or die trying, together. Octavia gives you a warm smile. I guess it's good that we fulfilled only the first part of that vow. You owe him much? Octavia winces. I don't like this "owe" word. I don't owe anything to anybody. Everything I do of my own free will. But to answer your question, yes, Reg has done a lot for me. I can't count how many times he was whipped by masters because of me, how many times he took the blame for my doings. He never complained when they dragged him, beaten and covered in blood, to the slave barracks. He just groaned and clenched his fist while I bandaged his wounds with the scraps of my filthy clothing. We've always been together, my whole life, as slaves and as free people. I wouldn't be me if not for him. The fact that Reg is so impulsive doesn't bother you? Ah, that is a very delicate matter. Octavia winces, looking away. Reg means a lot to me, and he endured a lot for me, but some parts of him just scare me. He becomes extremely bloodthirsty when it comes to slavers. Don't get me wrong, I hate slavers with all my heart, and I'll do a lot to cleanse the world of their filth, but Reg, he'd do anything. Understand? Absolutely anything. I'm afraid that anger might kill everything good in him. I've attempted to talk to him about it many times, but he just won't listen. He becomes even angrier after our conversations. Octavia sighs sadly. I don't think, based on the description, that he's ever hurt her. Which, when you're talking about someone who lets their anger go, and then he gets angry at the conversations, it leaves it a bit unknown, but she hasn't described anything that sounds like he's hurt her. So I'm going to assume he hasn't. Let's change the subject. A good call. Of course, what do you want to talk about? I just have to ask, how do you manage to look so gorgeous even when we're in the middle of nowhere? Sure, we'll just ask it straight out. Oh, so you've noticed? Octavia smiles slyly. My appearance is the result of daily effort, and it's not easy. Do you know how much time it takes to create good makeup or to mend a dress even with the help of magic? So if someday you wake up early, an hour before dawn or so, you can actually check on me. You'll see how I prepare myself for a new day. Oh, Octavia, the flower of the Stolen Lands. You're as beautiful as you are dangerous. You strike down monsters with your spells as you strike down people with your beauty. Alright, we are apparently having the option to just go straight on a flirt offensive. You sure put a lot of effort into this, but the results make it worthwhile. It's not quite so flowery, which feels better to me. So much effort, though that's your business. Or I'd prefer that you get enough rest. Stop wasting your time on this nonsense. If it matters to her, I'm not going to lecture her on it. You sure put a lot of effort into this, but the results make it worthwhile. You bet. You know I like to feel attractive, even while we're on the march. Octavia flashes a teasing smile at you. It feels so good to be a beauty in a group of barely washed and extremely reckless young gentlemen. You're my thorns and I'm your rose. Well, that's rude. I don't think I fit the part of barely washed, extremely reckless young gentleman. But fine. You worship Callistria, right? Yes, many slaves survive only thanks to their faith. Some lived hoping for a day when a good deity would deliver them. Some even offered deals to the evil gods. But me and Reg, Callistria has taught us the most important things. Expect no gifts from anybody, rely only on ourselves, never forgive those who wronged us, but at the same time, savor every droplet of pleasure we could squeeze from our bleak days. It's amazing how after all your hardships, you still remain so cheerful and optimistic. Octavia's smile fades a little. I try not to view my life as a never-ending course of sufferings. Yes, I've had my share of hard times, but do I need to recall them? After all, along with the bad things, I had some good things as well. I had a dream and I followed it, and eventually it came true. Following that path, I met Reg and you. Now I'm free and surrounded by friends. Octavia's voice trembles with hidden emotions. Her smile remains warm and sincere. Why do you need to find the Technic League agents? I broke free from slavery thanks to you. I've obtained everything I dreamed of. My freedom and the opportunity to control my own life. I want to use this opportunity to fight the Technic League. At least, the part of it that operates here in the Stolen Lands. I wish to free all the slaves from their Technic League masters. Octavia gives you a warm smile and gently touches your hand. I do believe that while we're together, we can achieve a lot, even this. Alright, we'll talk later. Sure. Octavia gives you a friendly smile. Coming to time. Alright, let's continue. Because we have Keston here that we need to report about Tartuccio. That we killed him. Even though, as players, we know Tartuccio was brought back from the dead. Our characters, I don't think, are aware of this. Before you stands a heavy-set man with grim, determined features. His weathered face is crossed by several scars, yet they do little to mar his appearance. His gaze is heavy, but he avoids eye contact as if afraid of unwittingly sharing whatever burden weighs so heavily upon him. Keston, I failed to capture Tartuccio alive. He attacked me and was killed.
Well, this is not the best outcome, but I think it will be good enough for Jamandi. Take this as a reward for your help. I'll send word to Reskov and let them consider how they might return the favor.
1,000 gold. I will take it. Thank you.
Once again, I thank you for your help. I'll remain here until my men recover from their wounds. Meanwhile, we'll help guard the trading post and fight off any bandits should they return. Good luck in all your plans and endeavors.
Of course. I'll see you later. Farewell. And Noriel, do you have anything further about your story? Hey, it's you again. What can I do for you? Regarding your story... Yeah, we don't need to hear about the beginning. What happened in Renchurch? I have no wish to fill your sleep with nightmares. When you prove that you can stand firm in battle... Okay. So we can't hear more of her story. Svetlana, we met your friend? Yeah. Svetlana greets you warmly. Good day to you. Do you need anything? I'd be happy to help. Here's your ring, Svetlana. Kressel gave it to me. I even managed to convince her not to fight me. Svetlana sighs bitterly. I suppose I should tell you the truth about her. Kressel wasn't her real name. Her real name was Irina. Before all this, she was the daughter of my mother and her second husband, my half-sister. I can't help but feel like everything that happened to her was my fault. She always had a wildness to her. She wandered the streets, hanging out with a bad crowd, until the day she passed. Mother complained about Irina constantly. Back then, it was just cruel games and strange escapades. She never really hurt anyone back in Rostov. Our father didn't live much longer than our mother, so I decided to try and help Irina. I brought her here to the Stolen Lands, though Oleg was against it. And once here, she immediately fell into the Stag Lord's influence. She never even needed to meet him. The stories and rumors from the local hunters and bandits were enough to win her over. She would tell us how he was a real leader, unlike Rostov's softies. Eventually, she ran away, only to return under a new name with a pack of thugs to collect taxes from us. What's worse, she participated in the torture and execution of prisoners alongside the Stag Lord's minions. I don't know if there's any way to set her back on the right path, but I'm grateful for your kindness. Perhaps there's still hope. For the sake of my mother's memory, I'd like to believe that. 10 rations, that'll be good for when we're in caves and we can't easily get back to the surface to hunt. And we lost the wedding ring, that's fine. I have to go, farewell.